What's up, everybody? It's the Beast back for the UFC show. Episode 3, technically 4. I did record one last week, but my voice was hoarse as shit because I had COVID last week on Monday. Got sick. Um, it was rough. A rough day and a half. Got some sleep in. Got that hot shower, got that Pedialyte, got that Gatorade in me. Got back to being healthy because, the people need me. They need the beast. But, I'm still out here recovering. Taking that vitamin C to, boost my immune system. Here at the Hashmark Show, we take our vitamin C straight to the dome. Twelve ounces of orange juice right there. That'll boost your immune system. Let's get into this review for UFC Kattar versus Chikadze. I tell you what, this one was a little hard to predict. There were so many fights on here. Like, I didn't do any prelim betting, just didn't know enough about the people to do it. My main research for the show that I did record last week, but we didn't air because my voice sounded like crap. I had my predictions on there, and I'll just kind of go over with, what I said about them. Basically, the cards start out with Joe Anderson Brito versus Algio. I basically said Brito was coming off a win in the Contender Series. Has 12 wins, 5 by knockout, 5 by sub, and 2 by decision. It says submissions are either rear naked choke or guillotine. Bill Algio, also from the Contender Series, lost. Fought some fights, got back in the UFC. So he was 1-2 in the UFC with his last fight being a loss. And all of his fights went the distance for Algio. I picked Brito to win, and that did not happen. Bill Algio, he put a whooping on him. So Algio won by unanimous decision. I bet that one. Did not make money on that one, but the next fight I picked it was Dakota Bush versus Vyacheslav Borshchev, which I don't know how to say his first name. We're just going to refer to him as Borshchev, which is a fun name to say. Dakota was coming off a loss in his UFC debut. He was 5-2 in LFA, which LFA, it's a minor league for big MMA organizations like UFC. He has 4 submissions, all rear naked chokes. I said Borshchev is a finisher. 4 of his 5 fights, he's won by TKO or KO. He has 1 decision and only 1 loss, which was a split decision. So he was a pretty tough guy. My pick was Borshchev by KO, TKO under 2.5 minutes. He did, in fact, win in the first round, so I did get that one right. I did also bet him, but yeah, under 2.5 rounds. I usually just give it because a lot of these places, these books, they have one it's either like under a round and a half. But yeah, Borshchev, I had him winning by TKO. He won in the first round. It looks like 3 minutes and 47 seconds. Next up was Caitlin Chukagian versus Jennifer Maia. I said these guys have fought. These two women, not guys. These two women have fought before. Chikadze won that fight. Caitlin also had more strikes than Maya in the first fight. Maya landed a takedown, but she needed to land more. This fight actually was a pretty good one. Chikadze won this one by decision, unanimous decision again. But she did a good job of keeping, Jennifer at bay. She took her down in the first round, controlled her, won the first round. Second round was kind of, you could give the edge to Maya on that one, but it was definitely it was Caitlin's fight. She had the fight won. So, Chikadze won that fight. I did bet on Chikadze for that one. I said she'd win by TKO in the second round. Obviously, she won by decision. But yeah. The next fight was Brandon Royval versus Rogerio Bontorin. I said Royval has the resume and has beat some tough guys. Nate Williams is one of the guys I know and actually know in person. He is a coach, a wrestling coach, or was for Des Moines East at one time. I met him several times, over just through wrestling meets, and then when I did some MMA fighting when I was younger, he was some of those shows too, and he was fighting in those shows. Wrestled or fought at 125 like he does now, 135, in that area, and yeah, he just Royval. The thing about Royval was he got taken down by Bontorin a lot, but he did more with Bontorin didn't really do nothing. Royval he'd get taken down, but he'd get out, he'd transition, he did kind of everything he needed to do to he was always pushing the pace basically. So that's why he won the fight. I had Royval winning by decision. So that was my pick, was Royval by decision. He ended up winning by decision, but it was split decision. Good fight. If you guys, I would highly recommend going back and watching that fight. It was a very fun fight to watch, and I was just like, they're gonna give this to Bontorin, and but Royval deserves to win. He was very just aggressive and even striking from when being on the bottom. He was throwing strikes. So yeah, I thought Royval won. He did win. He won a split decision, but he definitely earned it. He's a very good fighter. The co-main event. This was very funny because I wrote on here. Did I? Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, there it is. Basically, I said Collier began his career at middleweight and has progressed up in weight. So he started at middleweight and he's up to heavyweight now. He's his body type, and not body shaming at all, his body is a body that looks like it could be slimmer. It's a lot like Roy Nelson, when he was heavyweight and everybody's like, oh, he should be at 205, but he just didn't do it because he liked food. Collier actually lost, I guess, a lot of weight doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu, trying to just trying to do something athletic, and he kind of lost some weight and started doing some fighting and started middleweight, and it was all the way up to heavyweight. Collier's was at the time 4-5 in the UFC, and he has a pattern in his career. He wins one, then he loses one, wins one, loses one. So he's definitely won one. I also said his hands might not be heavy enough at heavyweight, but yeah, if you watch this fight, he punches in volume, and he gets it done. If you throw enough punches, they add up. I said Chase Sherman has the heavier hands and has knockouts at heavyweight. But his record in the UFC is literally 3-7, 3-8 now. But I wrote in all capitals, not quite sure why this is the co-main event. Maybe they want to get a knockout before the main event to get people hype, but I don't know. I don't know why this was the main event. It was just so silly for a main event because both these guys were, and like that fight itself was not. I didn't think it was that good of a fight. Collier came out and just kind of he threw his hands. He knocked Chase down, and he threw in a choke, rear naked choke, and it just looked like it was not in there that tight, and Sherman tapped. Maybe I didn't see it very well, but it did not look that impressive. Then the main event came, and I, like probably everybody in the world, thought Chikadze would beat Kattar. I was all about Giga, but didn't happen. So here are my notes. I said Giga is a guy who has only improved since he has been in the UFC, and it shows. He's a finisher. His last 3 fights, his first 3 fights in the UFC were decisions, very close decisions, to say the least. He's shown how much he's improved. I say he was slick and fluid with his motion. I said Kattar has fought some guys some good guys. He lost to Max Holloway, which that was a slugfest apparently. Jeremy Stevens, which he won. I said he can finish a fight or take it to decision. He has 11 knockouts and 9 decisions. I said this fight will not go the distance. I could not be farther from the truth when I predicted that. I said that Giga would win via knockout in the 3rd. If you guys watch this fight, this was a good one. And if anything, it shows you that Giga has a chin on him. The guy fought his heart out. Like sometimes it just like that he was getting lit up by Kattar, and it just he just kept coming and kept trying to throw and hit, but Kattar just boom, he would answer. Looked like he got tired somewhere in there too. Like his stamina wasn't quite there. Kattar kind of looked like that in the 4th round and 5th round. But I don't know, it was just like they were both tired. I don't know if the 5 rounds was a lot for him, and these guys immediately after the fight went straight to the emergency room. But these guys fought their hearts out. It was. I mean, I bet this is a fight of the year contender. It was a classic. It was a very, very good fight, to say the least. And then another note that I put on here, I said, what was up with the nicknames of some of these fighters? Because literally, Dakota Bush, his nickname is Harry. So when they announce him, he's Dakota Harry Bush. So, there's that. Borshchev had a pretty cool one. His nickname is Slava Claus. So like Santa Claus, Slava Claus. That's pretty cool. Caitlin Chukagan, her nickname is Blonde Fighter. So she's Caitlin Blonde Fighter Chukagan. And so they got some interesting. Then the one of the best ones was Brandon Royval, who Brandon Royval's nickname is Raw Dog. He is Brandon Raw Dog Royval. And then Jake Collier, like I said, he's gotten up there in weight. his nickname was the Prototype. Maybe if this is what the Prototype looks like, I don't know. Then Chase Sherman, his nickname is the Vanilla Gorilla. So that's a unique name as well. And then basically, the main event, there was no real cool nicknames. Giga's nickname is Ninja. So there's that. So on to the UFC 270 fight card coming up this weekend. It's I can't say that a lot of these names are big names, even on the main card. There's some guys that I haven't heard of. Some guys I've seen maybe a couple times. But this main card has it's headlined by the main event of Francis Nagano and Cyril, and then the co-main event is Brandon Moreno and Devasent Figueretto. Those are the two big ones on this card. That's what's gonna bring people in to buy it. And guess what? They're gonna buy it because they want to see heavyweights. Because guess what? Heavyweights knock people out. And guess what the casual fan wants to see? They want to see a knockout, right? Of course. That's exciting. Even as a person who watches UFC, you love knockouts. If I watch it, I watch MMA. I've watched it at every level. Amateur. I've competed in amateur MMA. I've went to shows where they have a mix of amateur and pro. I've watched some Bellator fights. I've watched some of these the Cage Warriors where Paddy the Baddy came from. I've watched some of these guys. I've watched them at every level. Everybody loves a knockout. Everybody loves a fancy submission. Don't tell me you don't watch Brian Ortega, and when he throws in all these triangles, T-City, Triangle City, you can't tell me when you see him throw in a fancy submission, it's not you don't get a little hype about it. When you watch a knockout, you don't get hype. You do. You love it. There's just something about it. I mean, and people love a good back and forth fight. Good example of that is for my blog. I just finished up a review of a fight, Forrest Griffin and Quentin Rampage Jackson for the light heavyweight title, where Forrest Griffin wins the title. It was a back and forth fight. It was a good one, but it would have been a highlight. Knockouts and flashy submissions are highlights, and everybody loves highlights. You don't watch a highlight show of the best decisions ever, do you? No, you watch the best knockouts. The best knockouts of 2021, the best knockouts of 2017, best submissions of 2017, best submissions of 2008. Those are the highlights. That's what people want to see. And that's what you're going to see with Gon and Nagano. You're not going to see this fight go the distance. I'm saying that, and you should probably go opposite of what I say, because it'll probably, now that I say it, now that I put it out there in the universe, it's going to go all 5 rounds. But truthfully, I don't see it. Gon made quick work of Henry. Not Henry. Lewis. Derek Henry, Derek Lewis. That's where I get that mix up on. But no, he made quick work of Derek Lewis. He made him look like he quit. Nagano, he has that power. That's what people want to see. Let's break down the main event. The main card. We're not going to go through the whole card because the prelims and everything, that's just too much. And half the people aren't going to watch the prelims unless you're only watching free stuff. And even then, it's on ESPN Plus, which you have to pay for, which I have ESPN Plus because I spoil myself. I have UFC Fight Pass too because I spoil myself. All right, the first fight on the card is Rodolfo Vieira versus Wellington Turman. Vieira's favored in this fight. I think it's because of his grappling skills. I think that this fight's going to go to the ground no matter what. I think Wellington's going to have a slight advantage in the striking. This is a toss-up fight, really. It's not too heavily favored on one side or the other. You have Rodolfo Vieira, he's favored at negative 255, and then Wellington Turman is plus 185. They're figuring it's going to go to the ground. Turman could hit him and knock him to the ground, and then when he goes in to finish it, that's when Turman goes to work, pulls guard, puts a submission in. I think Vieira will win this fight. I think he'll do it by submission inside 2.5 rounds. Very easy one to pick in the beginning. I think Vieira will probably win that one. It's not going to be unless you're putting significant money down. You're probably not going to go with the money line on that one. You're going to probably want to go with a KO, TKO, submission, DQ finish, and that number will probably be a plus number, which you can probably get money on. That's if I was going to bet the fight, that's how I would do it. But then again, I could be rolling through the prelims and have some money that I made, and I go ahead and I take some of that winnings and I put it on Vieira money line just to make, $15-20 extra. It depends on how I feel. But definitely if you're wanting to single bet that, the best value is going to be on that KO, TKO, DQ submission line, in my opinion. Next fight is Cody Stamen versus Saeed Nurmagomedov. And I know you're looking at that. You're going to look at their pictures and you're going to see Cody Stamen and you're like, I've seen this guy somewhere before. I've seen this guy. You're like, that's the guy. That's the bad guy from Never Back Down. Wrong. He's not that guy. He is a former wrestler, college wrestler from Grand Valley State. So he's got some grappling skills to him. But Saeed Nurmagomedov, he is from Dagestan. He's not related to Khabib, but they're from the same place. So guess what? These guys are wrestling bears and other wild-ass animals. They're wrestling the whole forest out there, okay? They see an animal, they think they gotta take it down. I don't know. It's something about being from Dagestan. They want to wrestle everything. Saeed, he's also a wrestler, but he's got good stand-up skills too, compared to his counterpart Khabib, who Khabib was mainly a wrestler. He'd take you down, maul you. Saeed can do the same thing. He's got better striking. I think that it's going to come down to striking, but if it comes down to grappling, I think that Saeed can out-grapple Stamen. But, Stamen's that bad guy from Never Back Down. he's he'll get you. He'll find a way. My pick though is going to be Saeed via decision. I don't think he's going to finish the fight, but I think he'll do enough with striking and then taking down. He'll find ways to win the round. That's what he's going to do. He'll find ways to win. And then, that's how they do in Dagestan. They find ways they know what winning a round looks like. Next fight is Michelle Pereira Lima versus Andre Feijo. First thing I want to know is UFC, why can't you find a picture of this dude? Or why can't you fly him in to do a photo shoot of sorts? You've got him for everybody else but him. He is just this fighter that has a silhouette on the card. There are no odds on this fight as of now. Oh, if you wanted to know the odds of the Stamen versus Saeed Nurmagomedov fight, Saeed's favored. He's negative 200, and then Stamen is plus 170. So Saeed's a 2-1 favorite. So Michelle Lima, he is known for being a very flashy fighter, kind of doing gymnastics and stuff, and kind of just doing some goofy things. Lima's battle tested. He's fought pretty much everywhere. He's 26-11. He's 3-2 with a 3-fight win streak. The people love him. Vieira, he's making his debut. I think it's because he had to fill in for whoever Lima was gonna fight. So I think Feijo apparently has heavy hands. A lot of his victories are mainly, TKOs and knockouts. So out of he's got 14 wins and 3 losses. 11 of them are by KO. He's got 1 submission and then 2 decisions. He's got 11 wins by knockout, 1 by submission, and 2 by decision. Of his 3 fights, he's been knocked out twice, and he's had 1 decision. So either he's coming off he's on a 4-fight win streak. His losses have come in here recently, but they're not in the UFC. They're in Bellator, Professional Fighters League, and then LFA. But he's got heavy hands. You just can't count out a guy who can knock you out, who has that ability to. So my pick for this fight is I think that Feijo is gonna knock him out. With this fight, since there are no odds for this fight, you'll probably see it closer to Saturday. You'll see something, and it'll probably be. I wouldn't be surprised to see Feijo being the dog. It'll probably be like a plus 120, I bet. Or, unless they have, I don't know. I just don't know. They don't have odds out for it, so I don't even think they have it in the book yet. If they have, it might just be a plus 100 or a negative 105, negative 115 situation. Because I see that happen a lot. They don't want to lose money on something here. Let's see. Oh, nope, they do have it on Caesars. On Caesars, Feijo is plus 230. Pereira is negative 280. My pick on this fight is I think that Feijo is going to get a knockout. But you could definitely get better odds going with him as the dog. That's my pick. You can pick however you want. The next fight is Brandon Moreno versus Devasent Figueretto. And you have this fight. I just don't know why. The flyweight does not get any love. It's hard for them to sell out a whole pay-per-view by themselves. So that's why you always see the flyweight title being put up for grabs with another title. So it's always the co-main event. It's like always the bridesmaid, never the bride situation. And look at the UFC. They shipped off one of their best of all time in Mighty Mouse, Demetrius Johnson. They sent him in a trade to get Ben Askren here. So they really don't care about the flyweight division. It feels like that's sad because I feel like they could get some good guys in there. Royval's a 125 pounder, so get him up there. Get some new blood in there because the last three fights for flyweight have been all Devasent Figueretto and Brandon Moreno because they fought the first time. It was a draw. Next time Moreno won the UFC flyweight title via rear naked choke. So Devasent got the title, and then he retained the title in the draw. And then he lost the fight in a rear naked choke. In this fight, I think it's going to be the same as last time. I think Moreno's closed the gap there, and I think he's going to do the same thing in this fight. I think he's going to win it via submission again. He's going to catch him somewhere. Next fight in the main event is Francis Nagano versus Cyril Gane. The odds on this are pretty crazy, I think. They have Cyril Gane at negative 155, so he's the favored, and they have Nagano at plus 135, which I think is a value. Cyril Gane is 10-0. Francis Nagano is 16-3. So we got, we got two guys that are like they're not even at the heavyweight limit. Cyril Gane is 245, and Francis Nagano is 250. Both are the same height. The reach is about the same. Nagano is going to have a 2-inch reach advantage. They're going to look similar body wise, but for some reason I always feel like Nagano looks he just looks like the biggest tank out there. He's built like a tank. The dude is like I wouldn't want to fight him. No. Don't my 5'11", 250-pound frame could not take him. I would get squashed. I would be waking up to seeing my former family members hovering above me as I went toward the light. This fight, just some key points. Cyril Gane is so fast, and he's able to move around like a smaller fighter. He's a more complete fighter than Nagano, but Nagano has that knockout power. He has that wake up and meet Jesus kind of power. Like you get knocked out by him, you're gonna be seeing that light, and you're gonna see a bearded guy over you. He has that kind of power. He can't let him hit you. You just can't. He can't, like, I mean, I know he let Lewis get a hold of him a couple times, but it was nothing. Nagano has lost to Lewis, but I think you live and you learn. You live and you learn on that fight. I think if Nagano fought Lewis again, he knocks him out. Besides, Lewis doesn't want to go into the third round, fourth round, fifth round. He even said, he's like, I want these to be three round fights. So if Nagano, if he took Lewis into the third or the fourth or fifth round, he's knocking him out by then. He's not gonna get hit by him. But that's heavyweights. Heavyweights are so unpredictable. One punch ends a heavyweight fight. You could be getting your ass kicked for 4 rounds. In that 5th round, you land a punch in the middle of the round, within the last minute of the round, within the last 30 seconds of the round, within the last 10 seconds of the round. A heavyweight fight can be decided in seconds. And that's what happens here. Cyril has the reason he's in this situation is he's taking advantage of situations to get here. He fought Derek Lewis in Houston with Derek Lewis on a 4-fight win streak. I don't know what else. I mean, he's hungry for a title, so he definitely put himself in this situation. He is not going to be scared of Nagano. They were training partners. They know each other. They leaked that tape of Nagano and him sparring, but guess what? Sparring is not a fight. You don't go hard in sparring, especially when you're you're out there contending for a title. You're not going to be going full bore. One of you guys might. One of you might, to look good, gain confidence. But guess what? I mean, if I went in there and wrestled with, I don't know, if I went in there and wrestled with Nagano and I was a grappling partner and I go in there and after 5-6 people have wrestled him and I go in there and I submit him, of course I'm going to look good. Who knows how many people had been sparring with Nagano beforehand? Could have been 8 people. They could have been doing like a shark bait thing where, he's going every round and it's a fresh body every round. Who knows? The keys for Cyril to win this fight, Cyril just needs to stay away from Nagano's strikes. He needs to do something similar to what he did with Lewis, but he's facing a guy that's far more powerful than Lewis, in my opinion. Nagano, what I think he needs to do is, I think he's seen, like Cyril's going to come in and he's going to try to, I think he needs to bait him in to make him feel comfortable. I don't think I don't think he punches as hard as some of these other heavyweights. So I think you bait him in, make him feel comfortable. Boom, counter him. Counter straight, counter hook, maybe an uppercut. You get in a little tussle, you get in a little exchange, throw that uppercut in, boom. Lights out. Meet Jesus. My pick for this fight, I think Nagano is going to win this via knockout. I think it's going to be, I think it'll be in the 3rd or 4th round. I think if it goes past 2 rounds, Cyril is going to feel more confident. And that's not a good thing going up against Nagano. Or anybody that's got heavy hands like him. Look at Lewis against Cursed Blades. Cursed Blades was whooping him. boom, that last round, he's tired and out of breath, and he threw that, threw that prayer up. Nagano's not going to do that. Nagano's going to be in shape. He'll be in shape for 5 rounds. But he can't chase Cyril. He's going to have Cyril chase him. He's going to have to make Cyril bring the fight to him. Then he's going to have to just play that game where he lets Cyril feel confident. My pick is I think Nagano's going to win this in under 4.5 rounds. And I would bet money line on this. Plus, what was that? What did I say? Plus 130. Yeah, plus 135. I would just go money line plus 135 on this. So the last thing I'm going to leave you guys on is I talked about this last week when I recorded my episode, except for it didn't get put up because, like I said, my voice sounded like absolute shit. It sounded so hoarse and everything. You would not even probably recognize my voice. But you see, Jorge Masvidal and Colby Covington are going to headline UFC 272. I haven't seen where the odds are, but the big thing that I've seen everybody talking about is that Colby Covington is a big favorite in the early lines, and it's true because you have Jorge Masvidal, who is a predominantly solid striker. And that's all he's really known for. He doesn't have much of a ground game. Going up against Colby Covington, Colby, who's a more well-rounded fighter. And I'd even say he's probably a better striker. Going against Jorge, who is pretty much one-dimensional. Colby can wrestle. Colby can strike. Colby gives, championship contenders fits. He knows how to fight him. He knows how to fight. He knows how to win a fight. He's not going to stand and strike if he doesn't have to, but he probably can outstrike him. But yeah, that's coming up March 5th. So yeah, big news in the MMA world. That's going to be me for tonight, though. I try to keep it at 30 minutes, but I just couldn't, I got too much to say. Can't hold me down. But until next week when we do the review show, and then we'll talk about some of the upcoming fights, the next fight night. All right. See you guys.